Hello, this is the Tech Genie, and today I'm going to be going over a common, simple problem that most techs and even people overlook when they get no signal on these Samsung S6s, and they assume that the transceiver's bad, and then they try to send it to me to try to fix it, thinking it has more issues. I do data recovery, and I also repair these motherboards at component level and stuff like that, so I see a lot of these in. But 9 times out of 10, it's always the most simplest things I find that usually causes the issue, whether they selected the incorrect bands and so forth. And I'll go into that in a whole separate video on how to get to the service menu and so forth and check that. But in this video here, I'm going to go over pretty much a hardware fault where someone drops the phone and then all of a sudden they're greeted with the no signal on top right there all of a sudden, and normally not a software or incorrect band setting and so forth, but usually internal issue. And usually 9 times out of 10 it's always the SMA connector inside here that pops loose, and when it pops loose, that's how you end up getting greeted with that no signal. And simple fix is just, of course, plug back in the SMA connector or replace the broken SMA connector we ripped off the board, so long the traces are still there, of course, and then you get a working phone again. The other common issue people do, or techs do, is when they replace these glass back doors. Like when they happen, this is extreme condition. Someone brought this in for data recovery because it got ran over. But normally what they go ahead and do is they go and take one of these playing cards. They try to heat the glue to a certain temperature, but they don't use it hot enough. And the problem is they end up ripping right through these connectors and these antennas. And as you can see here, it's missing bottom antenna and ripped this part of the antenna up here, and even ripped part of the charging pad pretty much right out. This is a good one just to show you the difference. And you can see the antenna right here and antenna right here is still intact. Of course, your charging pad is still intact too. But let me go and show you normally what happens to these phones and how to fix the no signal issue with this particular phone. So I'm going to go and power it off. Okay, hold on. We'll go and power it down and take out a couple screws here that I put in just so I can secure it. And I'll show you how to do this quick fix, and also show you another fix too with it. I'm going to go and pop out the SIM card here. And yes, this is an active SIM, one I use for testing. Okay. And here you go, and this is normally, this red cable right here, it's normally what pops loose when it gets dropped hard enough, and that's what causes you to lose signal. In this case here, it's still intact, so all I really have to do is just simply usually plug this right in, because the connector, the SMA connector is right here. And sometimes this here, when it gets dropped hard enough, will actually come slightly off the board. Most cases the traces are still there and can be soldered back on there. But if not, you might have to go deeper into the, and that's a hard repair pretty much. So let's go and plug it in and hope that she gets signal. So I'll go and put that in there nicely. Put a couple screws. So you always want to make sure when you, and the other thing is just to check real quick. And another error that some technicians will do is, here's a charging port, and also here's the connectors that go up to the board and stuff like that. And you'll see these letters right here. This one here, for example, with camera focus, it says A. You want to match these letters with the charging port you're actually using. And for Verizon, Sprint, and all the other phones, they use a different charging port. If you do use the incorrect charging port, these pins won't line up to the back of the case here, which you'll see right here, where it goes to the antennas. And that will also cause you no signal problems too, and so forth. And not only that too, it also causes you sometimes to lose the mic and you won't get no audio and so forth. So always match these letters with the one that's originally on the board there. And if this camera actually focuses in, then you can see there, you want to make sure these are both matched, and you'll be in business normally. So let me go and put this back together and hope we get a signal. Give me a second. And always make sure, especially on S7s and S8, put screws into at least this side of the chassis, because there's a heat pipe that the motherboard connects to. If you don't put that in there, you'll end up destroying the GPU or CPU, and you'll end up having to replace the logic board, because then it can't transfer the heat to the heat pipes or the casing of the phone. So always put those screws in, even when you're testing the phone, just to make sure that you don't overheat the motherboard, at least on this side where the board is, so that way it can make good seating on that heat pipe and you don't got to worry about burning up the phone. And we'll put an active SIM in there, and let's hope for the best. Okay, we'll power her up. And let me see if I can find my other phone. Where did I put that? And, well, here you can see right there, it picked up signal this time around. And that was pretty much the fix right there. So, let me go ahead and call my cell and see if it actually worked. And I'll put this, I don't want to show the number, so let me go ahead. And that's me calling the store number there, and then I'll call myself. Okay, hold on. Okay, and it obviously works, so there you go. It does dial, it does work, so that's the fix. Alright, and let me go and end the car here because it's still trying to call. And there you go, and that was the fix. Always check the connectors and don't assume that it has motherboard issues until you know for a fact you tried everything, including checking the bands in the software, including checking the connector and the charger port and so forth, and making sure that it's not just antenna issue or the fact that the case is damaged or whatever the case is. That will 9 times out of 10 fix your problem, and therefore you'll have a working phone again. So this concludes the video for now, and I'll be doing other videos. Next one will probably be on how to fix and change bands in the software and so forth, and then I'll have this camera hooked up to the computer and I'll show you how to check that too and get into service menus and so forth. So this is the Tech Genie, and now I'm out.